So Konstantin Kisin destroys this, unflattering anti-Zionist and probably an anti-Semite in this incredible debate about really identity politics, but also about Israel-Palestine and how that all plays into it. So check it out.
Anything to do? Are you saying that I believe that because my grandfather was Jewish? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that it's a matter of identity.
Is that what you're saying? How is this identity politics?
I didn't.
Assessing a conflict in the Middle East
can get away with murder because one group can get away with murder in your book and the other group cannot, because in your book,
if I support Ukrainians, Ukrainians in their fight against the Russians, that's identity politics?
No.
Okay, so why is this conflict different? What is your evidence that this has anything to do with identity for me and not to do with the facts as I perceive them? I may be wrong about the facts. That's very possible. But what is your evidence that it's based on identity and not my incorrect opinions based on the things that I'm reading?
Gaza is not going to be inhabitable for another God knows how many years. And that is a plan. That is something that has been actively done.
Let's accept that everything you said is true.
Exactly.
How is me assessing what's happening in this particular conflict based on the facts and information and my beliefs and my understanding of history, etc.? How is that anything to do with identity? Unless you're suggesting that my identity means that I have a particular view of this conflict.
Yeah, your identity gives you a bias towards this conflict, and that makes you...
What is the identity element that gives me a bias?
I don't know what your identity is. I didn't even know.
Really? Now, this statement is fascinating.
People versus other people.
Which aspect of my identity gives me a bias about this conflict? Please tell me.
Doesn't matter. The point is you're biased.
No, it does matter. You are suggesting, you said yourself that because I have made a name for challenging the stupidity of identity politics, that's where I'm a hypocrite on this issue. And I'm saying to you, can you please explain to me, as you've said, my identity makes me biased, which aspect of my identity makes me biased on this issue?
The aspect that makes you look at the destruction of the homes on lives.
So what aspect is that? Which part of my identity makes me biased?
I don't care. I look at the output.
I care. No. You said it. You said it. And I'm going to make sure I get out of you what you meant. So which aspect of my identity makes me biased about this issue?
The aspect that makes you look at Palestinians suffering.
Which aspect does that say? Which aspect does that? Come on.
Not see that it doesn't matter.
Listen, I hope you just say it, because it'll be a lot easier, because I'm going to keep asking you.
Yeah, what is it?
Which aspect of my is it the fact that I'm Russian?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Is it the fact that I was raised in Britain?
Probably.
Is it the fact that my dad was half Greek? Is that what it is?
The fact that looks at Israel as being the good guy.
Where's that related to my identity? How do you draw a line from my wrong opinions about this conflict and my identity?
I'll tell you why. Here's why. I'm Palestinian, so I definitely have an identity issue with this politics, with this conflict. But I am able to, having seen the absurdity of identity politics for many years, and having seen this incredibly destructive idea that my team is always right because we are good and other team is always bad because they are bad, I'm able to step back and say, it's wrong for anybody to target a civilian, and it's wrong when these guys do it, and it's wrong when the other team does it. Yeah. You, on the other hand, are unable to see this equivalency, and the reason for that is just identity bias. It's just, this is what
which identity
in the West.
Which identity?
I don't know, and I don't care. It's just identity.
Well, no. You can't say it's identity bias and then say I don't know.
You tell me.
None of this has anything to do with identity politics, and yet you seem adamant that this somehow is something to do with my identity. And that's the bit that makes me very curious.
I'm not saying it's necessarily about your identity.
You did say that. I'm saying it's about identity. Yeah, you did. You can go back and watch it. You said
your
that.
Identity, but the point is, it's something about the identities of the people that are in the conflict. That some people
I don't give a shit about the identities of the people in the conflict.
I think you do. I think it's very obvious that you do.
I'm glad you raised that point at the end, because now everybody can see why this conversation has gone the way it's gone from the beginning, because you seem to think that some aspect of my identity means that I think the way I think. And that's a very prejudicial way of looking at it. It's sad that you think this. but it is what it is. From my perspective, I'm someone who's against identity politics. I try to judge all the issues on the merits as much as I can. Now, I'm, of course, not perfect, and I sometimes am not able to see things objectively. None of us are. But I really do my very best not to allow my identity to influence things. You clearly don't agree with me and don't believe me. That's absolutely fine. But I think that's a very ignorant and prejudicial way of looking at it. And it's a pity that that's how you think about it.
Well, masterclass by Konstantin Kisin. And definitely, probably he went after the identity because he couldn't handle the stuff that Konstantin was throwing at him.